I'm gonna get started. Morning, everyone. I hope you are all having a beautiful week. I'm gonna start with an Om. Take a nice, tall, seated position. With the eyes closed, imagine breath moving in and out through all the pores of your skin. As we chant Om, imagine yourself becoming one with everything. Take a deep breath. So last night, I wasn't sure what I was going to talk about today. I did a little bit of thinking and writing about it, and I didn't have an idea. So I decided just to go to bed and see what happened. And then I woke up in the middle of the night and jotted down these notes in the dark. I have some little scribbles. But it came to me that I'd like to speak today about tapas and self-compassion. So I've been doing a lot of work. Hi, Monica. Hi, Yvonne. Good morning. A lot of work and exploration of compassion, self-compassion lately, because we're all taught that compassion is the foundation of yoga. And I think to really heal and move forward, we need to learn how to bring this compassion to ourselves as well. So the relationship between, this inner critic in our mind and our inner child can be healed too. When that is healed and full, then we have more love to give to everyone. So a common thing that causes people not to act with self-compassion is the belief that tapas is one of the niyamas of yoga. These are practices that we're meant to direct towards ourselves. I just want to check. Monica, can you hear me? This is my first time using these ear things for one of these chats, so I want to make sure that you can hear. If you can hear, can you thumbs up or press the heart? Or yes, perfect. Thank you. Good. Okay. So tapas is one of the niyamas. It is this austerity, this willpower that helps us to burn off the purifications. So the practice of yoga, the purpose of yoga is self-realization. That's remembering who we really are, okay? And beyond the limits of the mind, the body, the senses. And who we really are is infinite consciousness, okay? Some texts say it's of the nature of bliss and unconditional love. And so we slowly learn this by evolving the equipment that we perceive through. And we have different tendencies. And our tendencies are carried forward from life to life to life. Morning, Alyssa. So tapas is the practice, the willpower that gives us dedication to change our choices, to slowly change our tendencies. Okay? So if we came into this life, if we've spent lots of time in past lives with habits that have harmed us or others, we're going to naturally have that programmed in our nervous system, and it's going to take some effort and some work to change the way we respond in those situations. So this is what tapas is, that fire to do that. What tends to happen is there's also parts in text where it says the yogi is, very disciplined with themselves and kinder with others, or easier with others. Maybe we have higher expectations for ourselves, and others we accept that they are, doing the best as they can according to their conditions. That teaching is to teach us also not to judge others, to look at ourselves first. But there needs to be discernment between looking at ourselves with a healthy discipline, just acknowledging, that's a behavior that I would like to shift, and self-loathing. So many people, the way that they apply tapas is by mentally abusing themselves, really. Like when we do something, we say, I want to change my diet, and we're really excited, we think we're going to do well, and then our karma comes in and we have another lapse and we find ourselves on the couch with cheese all around us and we can't move and we're in a coma. So what is actually most helpful in that situation is compassion. Oh, okay, you're trying your best. We're going to try again, right? Some also awareness that we want to change the action, but kindness is a better motivator than criticism and judgment. And what many of us tend to do is sit in that and be like, I'm a terrible person, I'm a bad yogi, I'm all of these things, and just really lay into ourselves in a relationship that if we saw it externally, we would consider it an abusive relationship. If we saw the way that our internal critic often talks to our inner kid, who's doing its best but makes mistakes from time to time, we would be outraged if we saw that dynamic outside. So this is where the healing happens. The healing happens first inside ourselves, and then it begins to extend out. I shared in the self-compassion course, there's teaching about a white elephant. So they did a study where they told people, okay, don't think about a white elephant. We're going to give you a bell, and every time you think about a white elephant, I want you to ring the bell. Okay? And then they went, and as soon as they started the timer, it was just bells, 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 bells. Because what we resist persists. So if we're told not to do something, it's even harder for us to do something. And I was thinking about this in relation to how we punish children. I remember when I was a kid, if I did something bad, I'd be told to go to my room and think about what I did, right? So that's kind of reprogramming in the nervous system. I did this, I'm bad. I did this, I'm bad. Not any fault of my parents. They're doing the best they could, but I was thinking, oh, it would actually probably be more empowering if when we do something, an action that we'd like to shift, we went to our room and thought about how we'd like to act next time. Okay? So instead of the mind stewing on this not being enough, this, judgment and punishment and criticism, which triggers the threat defense mechanism. So that's the stress hormones start to flood through our body. Our nervous system goes into fight or flight mode. Instead of that, if we can meet ourselves with compassion, then we can have a better response through our nervous system. We can have love hormones flushing our nervous system, and then we feel safer to try things and make changes. So, if we, even ourselves, when we fall short, oh, okay, I did it again, I wanted to change that habit, I didn't. Instead of thinking how bad we are, that we didn't do what we wanted to do, put your attention and your energy in imagining yourself living the way that you wish to live. Imagining having the willpower. How would you feel when your diet is cleaned? And imagine yourself already being there, whatever the behavior is. So that's a kinder way to deal with our body and to help us move through. There's tapas in there, but we're using our attention in a way that's more loving and supportive. So really what's important is what is motivating our actions. And when we practice compassion, self-compassion, love is the motivation behind our actions. When we're really practicing self-judgment and criticism, often, when we practice judgment, we feel shame. So then there's this belief that we're not enough. And then our motivation is defending that we are enough or trying to prove our worth. This big fight, and our self-worth, our concept gets connected into it, and it's really painful. So if we can let all that go, yoga teachings tell us that we're not this body, that we're not our habits, we're not our thoughts, we're not any of this. But what we're doing is learning how to connect to what we really are. If we can be kind to ourselves as we move through this process, then the whole journey will be much more enjoyable. It'll be easier for us. There's many, many studies that show that self-compassion is actually a better motivator of change than self-criticism. And also we'll be healing this relationship. So once this dynamic is healed inside of ourselves, then we can carry that out and help to heal what we see outside of ourselves. So I offer this to you today to really do your best to know that there's an inner kid in you, right? So whenever your mind is going in, if it's saying harsh things to you, also imagine there's a sweet little version of you that's doing its best. And that's what you're laying that voice on, and see if you can hold it with kindness, okay? And be present. Oh yes, it's okay. This is part of being human. is that it takes a while, right? These habits have been in us for a long, long time, and it takes time to change them. But when we shift that compassion is our motivator, that love is our motivator, love is the motivation of all the actions we do, we also move closer to the path of bhakti yoga, which is to live each moment in devotion and celebration of this experience instead of punishment, judgment, attack, criticism. Okay? So I hope that's helpful. If anyone has a question, you can always write it in the comment. I'd love to hear your questions. And be kind to yourselves. Have a beautiful day.